All right. Okay. All right. So we're gonna start today's session with some basic information that you need to know about Adobe Illustrator. All right. So in this session, we'll of course have a quick introduction. No? So you have to introduce yourself. Then we'll cover the Adobe Illustrator overview. Okay. And then we're going to check out Adobe Illustrator's workspace. Good, good. So, we'll start with the boring stuff first. Boring talaga, no? So, just a quick overview about Adobe Illustrator. It started 1986. Initially, they just designed it to promote a product, which is yung PostScript file format. All right. So it was designed to promote the Adobe's in-house font development software and the PostScript file format. So originally, um, it was also tagged as a companion product of Adobe Photoshop, no? So ngayon tawag natin vector graphics. Way before, they had a very complicated way of explaining it na it uses mathematical equations, and it's actually it uses a busier system. But now it's just simply called as vector graphics. So to date, the latest version that we actually have for Adobe Illustrator is version 24. Yan. So, of course, way before, no, nung hindi pa binili ni Adobe ang Macromedia, sa Pilipinas, the more popular software is really freehand. No, tagal ng Pilipinas na nag-transition to Illustrator. Only when Adobe bought Macromedia out, pinatay nila si freehand. Then, saka talaga nag-emerge si Illustrator as industry standard na vector graphics software. No? So, we use it for digital graphics, illustrations, typography, all kinds of media, especially for print, no? Very, ano pa rin tayo sa print. Animation, it works hand in hand with Adobe Animate and other animation software simply because it uses line art. It's designed to create line art or vector graphics. No, so print, web, interactive, file formats, videos, and of course for mobile. Okay, so Adobe Illustrator is part, of course, of the Adobe Creative Cloud, and you can get access to all the latest updates and feature releases whenever they are available. Okay, so just a quick just a quick review. No, since both of you are working, and somehow you're aligned to well, you would be more or less familiar with these two terms, no? Yung raster versus vector. So when you hear the word raster, RAF, ano ang naiisip mo? How do you define raster?
Wait. I'm not really prepared with it.
Hindi, kasi biro ka nga
Uh,
pala. But,
pero okay lang po.
ah,
As far as I remember, wait, ang kung di ko nagkakamali, ang raster ay based sa pixels. Tapos yung vector po ay, di ba sabi nyo kanina, based on mathematical equation. So,
yes.
talagang fine edges kapag zoom in si vector kaysa si raster.
Correct, correct. And Patty, for you, what would be the difference between raster and vector? Is it the same as RAF, or do you have a different idea about it?
Kapag raster, naisip ko filter. Sa Photoshop,
Filter.
for some reason.
Yeah, right.
Ayun lang. Yung
Mm-mm.
vector naman po, parang yung vector art. Yun lang din ang alam ko sa vector.
Yeah, okay. That's fine. That's fine. So there's actually a video, but we'll skip this kasi dalawa lang naman kayo na. You can watch this later. We can just breeze through it now. No, but there's about a 2-minute video that you can also watch no in Google Classroom under session 1 getting started. It's called vector versus raster graphics. No, but we'll already discuss it now since dalawa lang naman kayo. Okay. So, pag raster, tama si Patty, tama si Raf, no, na if it's raster, it's comprised of pixels. No? So, yung bawat square na yon is, yung pag nag-zoom in tayo sa isang image, you get to see like small squares. And each square is assigned a color, a single color. Okay? So, pag binuo-buo yun, parang puzzle, no? Binuo-buo mo yung mga squares na yun, it forms an image. No? So, it's raster. 'Di ba nakaka-encounter rin tayo na kapag sobrang paano na nakikita natin na sobrang pangit yung picture. So either pangit talaga yung larawan na yon, pangit yung tao, pangit yung object na pinicturean, or nakikita natin na medyo pixelated, tapos sasabihin natin pangit yung quality or low quality, no? And we get to hear the term low res, 'di ba? Low res. So, ibig sabihin, yung number of pixels na yon, kung kukonti lang, tapos ang ginawa mo lang, in-resize mo, kunyari, 1 by 1, and then resize mo ng 6 by 6 inches. Okay? Ang ginagawa lang niya is dinuduplicate lang niya yung bawat square na yon. That's why you get to see a pixelated image when you resize it, no? A small image going towards a bigger image, no? So pag ni-resize mo siya, making it bigger, dinoduplicate ni Photoshop yung boxes na yon. Kaya para makikita mo, medyo parang jagged yung lines, no? Ng mga images mo, okay? So, it means that when it comes to raster images or graphics, they are constrained by resolution. Okay, resolution indicates yung quality of the picture, which is number of pixels. 'Di ba? Pag kunyari sa website design, no? 'Di ba meron kang PPI, pixels per inch. So how many pixels per inch? Okay? The less number of pixels per inch means the lower the resolution is. So when you resize, then it becomes jagged, no, in your eyes. Visually, you get to see na it's jagged. Okay. Raster images on top of what you guys have described, no, and what I just mentioned, it's capable of rich, complex color blend simply because yung bawat box na yon, pwede kang, yung bawat box na yon, since it's assigned a single color, when you want a smooth gradation, like a realistic picture, no, from, let's say, from dark to light, no, or from one color to another, bawat pixel mo or yung small box na yon, mag-a-adjust yung color niya so that it provides you a complex color blend, giving you a realistic image like our photos, no? Okay. They have large file sizes, okay? That's what's not great about raster graphics, no? The higher resolution means that it is equivalent to larger file sizes. Okay. So what are the file formats that support raster graphics? So of course, andyan yung JPEG, GIF, no? PNG, TIFF, BMP, PSD, no, which is the file format of Photoshop, and EPS and PDF. Okay? As long as gawa sila ng Photoshop or any other raster programs, no? So pwedeng Canva, pwedeng yung mga nasa phone natin na app na nag-e-edit ng photos, no? Those are called raster programs simply because they edit raster graphics or images. Okay.
Okay.
So, raster software, again, Photoshop, simply because nag-edit siya ng JPEG, right? O ng mga images natin and saves in the file formats that's indicated above, right? And GIMP. Okay. But again, you also have phone apps that whichever handles mga editing, mga photo editing, no? You can consider them as raster programs as well. Okay, so perfect for painting. Yes, so raster graphics, simply because it is capable of color blends, then it's definitely perfect for painting. Okay, and it's capable of detailed editing. Whereas for vector, it comprises of mathematical equations defining paths, okay, or lines, all right? Is it constrained by resolution? Okay, meron ba tong pixels? Wala, kasi paths siya. Okay, so ibig sabihin nun is kahit anong resize mo, let's say you have a logo designed in vector graphics format. Okay, nag-design ka ng 1-inch na logo. And then gusto mo siyang palakihin ng up to 2 feet by 2 feet. Okay, na logo. Alright. Do you lose quality? No. It will still remain as a very smooth line simply because it does not use pixels. Okay? Given that description, guys, ay di parang mas maganda ang vector. No, no. It depends on what your output is. Okay? So, kung gusto mo very realistic yung mukha natin, no? Tapos gagawin mo siyang vector, hindi niya kayang mag-blend ng kulay. Okay? Bawat path can only, every time you create a path, it can only handle a solid color. To consider it as 100% vector graphic. Okay? But there is a term that's called raster effect. Okay? Kasi baka balikan nyo ako sasabihin nyo sa akin na, Miss Katz, nakakita ako ng line art, tapos meron namang gradient. Sabi ko, solid color lang. Diba? Pwede nyo balikan na ganun Totoo naman. Okay? So, it's true. You can have a mix of paths, no? So, you draw your line art, and when you color, you can apply gradients. But you cannot say that it's 100% vector. It's a mix of vector pero raster coloring. Once na mag-apply ka na ng gradient, raster yun.
Okay.
Okay? So, mix siya. Okay? So, mix siya. Kaya, in Illustrator, it's a bit tricky to explain it, but later on, we'll definitely show that once we start opening Adobe Illustrator. No, that's why it mentions here, no? Difficult to blend colors. So yung third line natin, no? Difficult to blend colors without rasterizing. Kasi for Illustrator, in Illustrator, if you apply a gradient, automatic, it's a raster effect. Okay. So later we'll show that. Okay. As compared to raster graphics, it would have a smaller file size kasi parang programming language or HTML language, no? Na visually, this is what you see. Pero yung encoding mo in HTML, di ba may mga code yan, ganyan, no? Pag gusto mo i-view yung source, tama ba? View source yata yun for websites. So when you view the source, you only see like codes. Okay. So you also think about, you can also apply the same concept or process in vector, because you have codes indicating that there's a path here and there. Then file size wise, it doesn't consume a lot, no? So
Mm.
it ends up with smaller file size as compared to raster images. Okay. Now, file types include AI.ai, CDR, which is actually CorelDRAW, SVG, Scalable Vector Graphics, EPS, and PDF. Okay. So, ang tricky part dito is yung EPS and PDF. So, basically, EPS stands for Encapsulated PostScript. Okay. If you have created an artwork in Photoshop and saved it as a EPS, okay, basically it still saves raster information. Unless you have vector artwork or line art in Photoshop as well, no, and you saved it as EPS, basically nire-retain niya yung information for vector as well as raster.
Mm.
Okay. Same banana with PDF, so portable document format, right? Um, um, it can also save or retain both raster and vector information. Okay. Why is that critical na you know about file formats? Because in the event that you save your output and you want to edit it in the future, then as much as possible, you want to retain yung as much editability as you can, okay, of the file. All right. So sample of the vector software, of course, Illustrator. That's what we're going to cover in the next 5 days. And CorelDRAW is the strongest competitor by far, no?
Oh.
And in Inkscape. Okay. Now there are also other emerging vector software, um, like yung mga drawing software that's out there. Some mimic that they're actually vector, which is like Canva. But again, if it saves in PDF, EPS, then and you drew paths, then it can be considered as vector programs. Now, if raster is perfect for painting, well, vector would be perfect for drawing. Okay. All right. So in terms of editability, I'd say that it can also handle detailed editing except for colors. No?
Mm.
Line paths, kayang-kaya niya all the way, very precise. But in terms of color, you won't have that much control as compared to raster. Okay. So again, it depends on what the output is. Kung baga, at the end of the day, ano ba talaga ang gusto mong i-complete na artwork? Okay. May gradients ba? You know, particular ba na kailangan very fine yung lines? You know, do you want it more realistic? Mas mukhang totoong picture ng tao, for example, ganyan. So, then, you'll have to decide to use Photoshop over Illustrator. So, Illustrator is really good for mga line art drawings, no? Okay. Question so far? None? Alright. So, RGB versus CMYK. So, anong alam natin na between the two? What is RGB, Raf?
Red, green, blue.
Yes, red, green, blue. And we normally associate red, green, blue with what?
Um, I don't know.
On screen. So, anything that's on screen display. Okay. So, RGB is red, green, and blue. While CMYK, what is CMYK, Patty?
For print?
For print, very good. So,
Yeah.
cyan, yellow, magenta, black. Right? So, Cyan, yellow, magenta, black, or CMYK is associated with printing. Okay. So, yung mga ink natin at home or sa office, gumagamit yan ng CMYK mode. Ng CMYK inks. Okay. So, it's associated with inks. While RGB is more on light. So, any device that provides you on-screen display. So phone, monitors, TV, those devices utilize light, no, in appearance of red, green, and blue, and they try to mix those colors to project the actual colors that you want, or that's being shown on screen. Okay. So why are these two? So again, you have a video, then a very short video, I think 2 to 5 minutes, no, about it that you can also watch from the Google Classroom. No. So again, it's under getting started with AI. Okay. So CMYK is for print. Why is it important? Okay. Why do we need to know CMYK and RGB? One is it's about choosing the right colors. Okay. Is this something that is going to be printed? Okay. Once you're done with your project. Okay. Then you choose CMYK. Is this something that's going to be um, uploaded and posted on social media, or is it gonna be used as part of your video RAF, diba? Mga ganon. Then you choose the format, the color mode, that's RGB. Okay. Now, if it's going to be for both, okay, RGB, for on-screen display and for print, okay, what is the best color mode to start with? Then it's gonna be RGB. Okay. You work with RGB mode because you cannot mimic the brightness. You cannot mimic the darkness in the brightness of the RGB. So spectrum wise, okay. So if it's something that's gonna be for print and for online or on-screen display, then work with the RGB color mode. So in Photoshop, I know there are several color modes available, but for Illustrator, you're only going to have to choose between CMYK and RGB. Okay. So, for CMYK, ideal file formats or best practice would be saving it in PDF, AI, or EPS. For RGB, ideal file formats would be JPEG, PNG, GIF, and PSD. All right. So again, you have a video that you can watch then that gives you a clear difference between the two, no? But more or less we've already covered those two. Okay. Pang review lang. All right. So, determining what the file format to use. Okay. So, of course, again, it goes back to the number one question na what is the type of project that you were asked to do? Okay. Or you plan to do? Okay. Is it gonna be printed or posted online? So just like what we talked about earlier, right? So it's either it's to help you decide whether you have to start with RGB mode or CMYK mode. Okay. Sometimes you don't really have to super think about it because most of the time naman yung client ididikta na sa'yo kung ano yung kailangan eh, 'di ba, na file format. Alright? But to give you an idea of what are the file formats that's being supported, no, in your Google Classroom, you can also check out the link for supported file formats. Okay, so here. So you have file format supported for opening. You have placing. Placing is importing. Same concept or term used in Photoshop. You have, in terms of saving files, ano yung supported ng Adobe Illustrator. You also have yung for exporting. Okay. Normally, pag binanggit yung word na export, ibig sabihin, kapag nag-export ka into a file format, or into a file, no, if you're exporting, when you open that exported file in Adobe Illustrator, it will no longer open as an editable file.
Oh.
Ganon siya. Okay? Yan. And then you have shortcuts then for saving for web, where you can get some presets that you can choose from, and also saving for screen. So there's like tons and tons of file formats that's listed here now. So you can also check this out. Okay. So again, under classroom, you see it under getting started with AI. So we just discussed vector versus raster graphics, CMYK versus RGB, the complete list of supported file formats. And then we'll proceed to the workspace. Okay. So, time check, it's 2:48. Ang bilis natin. Normally, alas, ano na to eh, 3:30, ganyan. Okay. So, question so far. Baka masyado ako mabilis. Raf, you're good? Okay. Tati, you're good
Eh,
naman din?
di-discuss po ba yung ano, kapag gusto mo siyang i-start as RGB pero kailangan siyang i-print, i-discuss pa paano yung transition into CMYK? May ganun ba? May ganun ba?
Transition, not so much eh. Well, we can try
Ah,
it, no? We can try it. Some colors may adjust. Pero in your line of work, Patty, do you get to decide what the colors are when you design a website? Or
no.
most of the time binibigay na lang eh, no?
Mm.
Binibigay na lang. But we can see what happens when we switch from CMYK to RGB. Although a lot of times depende sa anong colors yung sinaselect natin. A lot of times hindi ganon ka-visible on screen. Minsan
Ah,
lumalabas siya kapag tinest mo na. Like pag kunyari sa RGB, bright siya, on-screen bright siya kasi nag-adjust ka pa ng brightness ng monitor mo. And yung pag-print mo, darker
dim.
yung lumalabas, right? So, merong way to simulate it. I can show you like if it's getting to be printed, no, how it would look like. Magka-adjust ng slight yung colors mo on screen. But it still does not depict kumbaga, laging may disclaimer na it may look darker when you print it out.
Ah,
Kasi depende sa screen mo eh. Pwedeng,
mm.
kahit nga screen to screen eh, pwede pang mag-iba, right? Kunyari, iba ang pagka-calibrate ng monitor ko sa pagka-calibrate ng monitor mo.
Mm.
Like kami ng anak ko, she's 21, so she also uses Adobe Illustrator. When she does it and then sends me a file na she wants to get feedback for, I'd open it. It's too bright on my screen. Pero sa kanya kasi, binabawasan niya kasi 300 ang grado sa mata. Bina-adjust niya na mas mababa. So, pwede pa rin mag-iba eh. Sobrang daming factors. But normally, medyo ang critical when it comes to, lalo na pag branding, no? If you're working for a client, it's just critical na when it comes to print, they would indicate the colors. Make sure that you use those colors, regardless what it looks like on your screen, unless it's well calibrated. And normally, it's Adobe. Are you using Mac or Windows?
Windows po.
Windows. Okay. Adobe RGB 1998. If your monitor is calibrated to that, what well, at least the experts are recommending is that provides you the nearest colors possible. Parang how it's displaying the colors.
Mm.
Halos true na yon. Almost true to life, kumbaga. Colors that's being displayed. As
Okay.
long as it's calibrated to Adobe RGB 1998, if I remember correctly. Yon.
Okay.
Mm-mm. But we can in probably on the last session we can try and do a demo and see if it will show the difference no, when you switch. Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions, guys? None. Okay. So time check 2:53. All right. So let's take a 7-minute ano lang muna, off-cam break. And during that time, I'd like you to download these files. So under getting started with AI, the workspace, okay. So download these 3 files. Sorry. So workspace exercise instructions, workspace guide, and the tour1.ai file. Because we're gonna cover this. Okay. All right. So 2:53, you can turn off your webcam. Baka kasi kung anong gusto nyong gawin sa break na ito. Turn off your webcams. Then turn them on once you're back. Okay, 3 o'clock will start na. So just make sure you download your files.
Yun kasi yung workload ko po medyo madami so hindi kaya ng ano po, hindi po kaya ng work from home. Pwede naman po kasi in-upgrade naman yung internet kaso remote desktop kasi yung ginagamit ko. So
Mahirap
pag
din.
nag-edit ako
Yeah.
ng ano po,
Oo.
di po naglalag.
Yeah, I
Eh
understand.
kulang pa yung license na binigay sa akin for Adobe so tsaga-tsaga
Oo,
muna pagpasok.
true. Ayan na. Hello, hello, Patty. All right. Okay. So, our next topic is actually the workspace. No? Here we will learn about, of course, the home screen. No, since both of you are pretty familiar with Adobe Photoshop, then this we should be able to go through this with a breeze. Okay, so we're gonna cover a home screen, opening a file, and then parts of the workspace, expand, add, remove, move panels, tools bar, navigation, at saka customize workspace. Now, before I get started, no, I just wanted to double check yung version na gamit nyo. Okay, so Raf, anong version na gamit mo, sir?
Latest version po, yung
Latest
2020.
version, okay.
Tama.
CC. Patty? Kumakain si Patty, oh. Carry lang. Go.
2020 din po.
Carry. Yan ang maganda sa, home-based eh. Yes. You can eat anytime, drink anytime, kahit di ka na maligo, no? Okay. All right. So, I'll walk you through the PDF file, no? The workspace guide. Okay. So, we'll open Adobe Illustrator. All right. Okay, so while we're waiting for it to launch, okay, so workspace, same as in Photoshop, no? Meron po din tayong tinatawag na workspace. So yung workspace natin is basically what you see on your main screen. When you first launch it, you will see the home screen interface, no? Just like in Photoshop, it would have something similar then, okay? So we'll go through it, no, step by step. Okay. So here, so when you first launch the program, okay, on the left side, you have your home. This is what it looks like. All your presets or some presets that are commonly used would display on this section. No? You click this circle with 3 dots in it, okay, you get the new document window. All right. So later on, we'll go back to it, no, and go through what we can see here. All right. All the recent files that you may have worked on would display here. Okay. Depende sa laki ng RAM nyo. No, it can vary the number of recent files it will display. Okay. Here, as long as you're connected to the internet, it would give some short videos on how you can use the Adobe Illustrator, mga tips and tricks and whatnot. Now, it's also nice if you have time to browse some videos here. It's gonna be helpful then. So occasionally I would watch a video or two. No. When you click on learn, there's tons of videos that you can um, choose to view. Okay. That would also be some tips and tricks that you can um, go through. Okay. To learn more about what Illustrator can do. You have the option of the creating a new document by clicking on this button or open an existing document over here. All right. Now, let me go back here. Okay. So, yan, yung mga tutorial videos. Okay. So, there are multiple ways to open an existing file. So, ito daw siya. Okay. So, from the home screen, yun yung kaninang nakita natin, right? So, we can click on this, or you can go to File, Open, no? Or open recent files, or use the Control O keys on your keyboard. All right. Okay. So again, almost the same with Photoshop. Okay. Now let's open the tour file. Okay. Okay, it's in my downloads. Okay, so I'll open tour file. Okay, yan. Alright, yan. So when you open a file, this is how your screen would look like. Okay. Ayan. So you have your application frame, especially on Windows, no? Meron kang nag-hold, no? Along this line, no? Ayan. It holds all the panels and the toolbars within the same window. So that's called an application frame, okay? And then you have the application bar, okay? So this is your application bar. All right. Now in in Photoshop, you have what we call a control bar, right? So on the top, okay. So we have the same thing in Adobe Illustrator. If it's not showing, okay, you go to Window and then make sure that there's a check mark beside the word control, okay? Kasi we will utilize that, okay? And you'll find it very useful. Okay. And then what else? On the right side, you will see the panels. No? The same as yung, more or less, yung feel niya, yung look niya, looks like Photoshop, right? So you have your panels here, you have your toolbar here. Okay. For toolbar, there are two options, or you can even customize it. But in this class, we will use the basic toolbar. Okay, so under Window, go to Toolbars, no? Make sure that this is set to basic. Okay, so again, this is the level 1 of learning Adobe Illustrator. Now, we still have advanced Illustrator class, no, being taught separately. So in our case, we will just use basic. Okay. All right. And then, of course, this is called a document window. Okay, so based on this, now it's here, your document window, right? So you have your panels here, and then you have your status bar. Okay, so the status bar is found down the bottom. Okay, now if you have multiple artboards like this, okay, so multiple artboards, no, you can switch using your status bar down the bottom. Okay, here. All right. Okay. So you can choose to change what to display on the status bar, like the artboard name. You can change it to current tool. So lalabas dyan is selection. Meron ding date and time, no, ngayon. And then yung number of undos. Okay, wala pa ng mga undos na nangyari. So what's indicated here is no undo or no reduce. Okay. You can also change the magnification level here. Okay, so that's your status bar. You can also click on this drop-down menu so that you can navigate from one artboard to another. All right, okay. Here in your document window, you can see the file name, okay, the magnification, the color mode in which this is saved, and then the kind of view. Okay, there's another common view that's being used when you work in Adobe Illustrator, which is outline, which looks like this. No, but we'll go back to that discussion later in the course. All right. Now, what pag pagdating sa Photoshop or Illustrator, no, based sa experience ko, minsan meron tayong mga tinatanggal na mga panels, no. May mga panels that may not be very useful to us. Some panels are not some panels may be important to have, no, while you're working in either Photoshop or Illustrator. So we either hide or display panels that are useful to us. Okay. And to do that, no, you go all the panels available, okay, in Illustrator falls under the window menu. So you go to your application bar, go to window menu, and all the items that you see here are actually from this point, no, down, no. So all the items that you see here up to symbol libraries are panels. Okay, so let's say I want the color panel to appear. So it's here now. It also opens the color guide. And if I want it to become mainstay, okay, or to stay in your workspace while you're working on an artwork, you can click drag over here. And when I do that, no, dun sa, when you move it, no, near the top part of the panel, nagkakaroon ng highlight na blue. It means that it will put it inside. Okay? There. So, I'll move this also. Yan. So, it puts those inside. Then, if you want to remove a panel that you feel na you don't need while working in Illustrator, you can click drag using the tab or just hold down your name. Yes, Raf.
Yeah, nag-show po kayo ng screen, ma'am.
Yes.
Ang nakikita ko lang po kasi ay yung Google Chrome.
Ay, okay. Sorry naman, the entire time. My God. Hindi mo mga sinabihan. Wait lang.
Hinahanap ko rin po eh.
Okay, so eto na. Ayan. Ang dami ko na palang sinabi. So, ulitin ko ulit. Wait lang. We'll go back. It's easy lang naman eh. So, Patty, I just saw you have a message, no? Yung link Teka, send ko sa'yo yung link for sa Google Classroom. Wait, para i-download mo. Okay, ito. There you go. Yan. So, sinend ko dun sa group chat natin. Okay. Alright. So, teka. Let me share my buong screen. Okay. Yung buong screen ko na lang. Alright. So, do you see Adobe Illustrator on your screen? Yes na. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. So when you first open, this is how it looks like. Okay. I'm just going through yung PDF file natin, which is a workspace guide. Yan. So here, yan. Ito, makikita natin yung home, learn, okay, mga short videos natin that you can actually watch. You can open an existing file. You have a button here that says open. All right. And then you have file open on the application bar. This is called the application bar, file open. Or you can open using the shortcut key, okay, Control plus O, or open recent files. Okay, so in our case, ang ginawa ko was open the tour file. Okay, so ito siya. So this is your panels. Okay, this is where your toolbar is. Okay, almost the same feel and look as if you're in Photoshop, right? You have your status bar down here. This is where you can navigate from one artboard to another. Okay, and then this is your magnification level. You can change it over here. All right. This is called the document window. Alright, kung nasan yung file mo, kung pagka-open mo ng file, this is how it looks like. So this is your document window. On top, this is called the tab, no? So file name, magnification level, color mode, this is in RGB, and the view mode. Okay, so here in this case it's GPU preview. Okay. Then you have your application bar on top. All right. And then this is called a control bar. Kapag wala kayo nito guys, kung hindi nyo to nakikita on your screen, all right, make sure you go to window and then control. Okay. Yan. So make sure meron siyang check mark beside the word control. Again, under window. Okay. So earlier na hindi nyo nakikita yung screen ko, what I actually demonstrated was your panels. All right. So, same as in, in Photoshop, may mga panels tayo or windows on the right side na pwedeng kailangan nyo, pwedeng yung iba, hindi, no? Nakaka-clutter ng screen kung marami tayong mga windows dito. So, as much as possible, you want to be minimalist. Right? Or just make sure that the panels that you need are the only ones open, right? So you go here sa window, no? From actions to symbols library, over here, those are panels, okay? So let's say I need color, I'll open color, okay? It will open in a separate window. If you want this to be part of the panel dock over here, this is called the panel dock. No? I can click drag. Okay. Click drag natin siya. Now, when you click drag dun sa medyo outline nung dock, okay, mag-highlight siya ng blue. So, ibig sabihin, ipapasok niya inside. Okay. When you see yung dalawang arrows, no, some of the panels would have that like this, no, but this one doesn't. Okay, so this one, ibig sabihin, pwede mo siyang i-expand, pwede mo pa siyang i-hide. Okay. All right. Now when you see this icon, no, yung arrow, two arrows pointing to the right, that's an indicator that you can collapse or expand the panels. Okay? And when you collapse them, this is how it looks like. Nagiging icons na siya. Why is this important? Kasi if you have so many, no, so many panels open, no, it may eat up a lot of space on your screen na sometimes it can be irritating while you're working in Adobe Illustrator. So you may want to, organize your workspace. All right. Your toolbar is here. Okay. This is where all your tools are. Starting point of drawing. Okay. Meron ka ring collapse na option here. You can also move this, no, around. Drag it also. Wait for it to highlight para mag-snap siya dun sa application frame. Okay. Etong parang line on the upper part. That's where you click drag if you want to parang move the entire toolbar. Okay. So again, ready kang mag-collapse. All right. Now, since you did not see it earlier, no, I'll do it again. For the purpose of the course, because this is a basic or it's a one-on-one class on Illustrator, make sure that you go to Window Toolbars, no? Kasi there are two types of, at least two preset toolbars available in Adobe Illustrator. So you have Basic at saka Advanced. Okay. So for this course, we will work with basic toolbar. Okay, so make sure na that is selected. Okay, all right. Now, once you're happy with this, okay, let's say in the future or your succeeding projects, no, you would want to always open a new file or an existing file with this presets available. All right, so we can save this look. Okay, so you can save this look as a workspace. And that's actually part of your exercise. Okay. Ayan. Yeah. We did that na. Toolbar. Okay. There. Workspace. Okay. And that's your exercise kasi for the next couple of minutes. Now, before I do that, no, on your toolbar, okay, same as in Photoshop, no, you will find like a very small triangle, no, on the lower right hand side of certain tools. Not all the tools, just certain tools. So like this, no, meron siyang small arrow, no, on the lower right hand side. It's an indicator that there are hidden tools, no, that you can still choose from by holding down your left click, no, on your mouse, and it expands to this. Okay, you will see this icon, no, for hidden tools, and this means na it's going to tear off the set of tools. So I click that, and this is how it looks like. So it expands to a separate window. Okay. Question so far? None. Pretty basic pa. Okay. Good. Um, and when you mouse over, no, some tools would have shortcut keys. Okay. And when you mouse over them, it will display, when you mouse over a tool, it will display the tool name and the shortcut key. So in this case, it's called the direct selection tool, and you can press A to switch to that tool. Okay. All right. So we've demonstrated yung expand panel, yung group panel, okay. Expanding the hidden tools, and then moving the toolbar. Okay, so ito yun, yung moving the toolbar, this line over here, click drag. Okay, and then I can just go back, move there. I see the highlighted blue section para mag-snap siya dun sa frame. Okay. All right. Questions so far? None? All right, good. To create multiple artboards, you can already set it up at the start, right? So you can either click on the button based on the video, click on create new, or go file new, no, or file new from template, okay, or use the shortcut key. So when you click on that, ito yung lumabas sa atin, right? So dun sa video. So let's say you start off with letter size, okay? So artboards are like pages, okay, number of pages if we're thinking about multiple page document. But what's great about it as compared to, let's say, Microsoft Word, right? You can indicate a set of dimensions per artboard. It's as if your document itself is like your table, tapos nag-layout ka ng for business card, for flyer, no, for brochure, for tarpaulin, ganyan. So pwedeng isang file, pero lahat ng layout nandun na. Okay, so you can assign one artboard per layout. Okay, so what we've seen earlier in the video is you can choose any of the presets available, right? Depende sa ano yung target output, so it can be mobile. You can choose whatever presets available here. You may choose web. We have print, film and video, at saka art illustration. This is where we indicate yung unit of measurement. So these are the ones that are available to you. You can type in the dimensions here, right? Yung orientation, pretty straightforward. Number of artboards. So ang binanggit ni Raf dun sa question niya was, let's say nag-start tayo sa isang artboard. So let's try that. No? By the way, your color mode is here. Raster effect. So during the course, we will talk about it more. No? So we'll set it to high muna. So 300 pixels per inch. Okay. So click on create. All right. So let's say you want to add another artboard. Okay. Let's open properties panel based dun sa ating video. Okay. So let's move it here. All right. So here, if you want to add another artboard, okay, if you want to add another artboard, you use the artboard tool. Click here, okay, and then you can click this to add a new artboard, okay. Now, you want to, let's say, change the dimension of this, no? Pag nakita mo tong square na to, it's like your bounding box, right? With the artboard tool selected, you can change the dimension here, width and height. So let's say 5 inches. Teka. So ang default unit of measurement natin is set to points. Okay? Pero ang dimension na binigay, let's say, sa your Raf was in inches. Okay? So, what do we need to do? Dati-rate, as in a long time ago, siguro mga in the early 2000s o 90s, kailangan mo pang i-search kung paano mag-convert. So, convert mo from points to inches, from inches to points, or whatever other value, right? Or unit of measurement. So, dito, ang maganda kay Illustrator is kahit na ang default unit of measurement natin is in points, pwede kang mag-type ng dimensions in a different unit of measurement. And automatically, it converts for you. Okay? So, ayan. So, you can change the dimension. You can move the artboard around. Okay? Yan. So, basta you select the artboard using the artboard tool. So, this is how it looks like. No? Your artboard tool. Now, what else can you do? No? Other than resizing using width and height in the properties panel, No? Kahit let's say wala ka nito. Alright? Kahit wala ka niyan. Okay. You can change it here on your control bar. Dahil selected ang artboard tool natin, no? Your control bar on top will also change into options that you can edit, no? Using the artboard tool. So let's say babalik tayo sa letter size. Okay. So ayan siya. Alright. You can use yung orientation, no? Orientation buttons natin. You have portrait. Okay. You have landscape. Alright. Now, you can change the name. You can rename. If you want to be more organized, you can name each artboard. So, let's say this one is your business card, for example. Okay. Business card. Okay. You can also type in the values. 2 inches by 3 inches here. Okay. Ayan siya. Alright. Okay. And when you start saving your files, when you start saving your files, or you want to, let's say, delete, okay, remove an artboard, okay, na you don't need, okay, just select it and then press the delete button on your keyboard. As long as you have your artboard tool selected. Okay, so you can also add another artboard by clicking on this button over here. So when you mouse over, sasabihin niya, new artboard. So click mo siya. Alright, so eto na siya, yung artboard, second artboard mo. Okay. Alright, you can double click this. Okay, and then rename it, change the preset to, let's say, A4. Okay, and then click OK. Ayun. Alright, so that's how it looks like. Okay. Any questions so far? None? Alright. So when it comes to saving files, no, kasi ang main topic naman talaga is saving files. Artboards will also discuss pa. There's a bit about artboards na we're going to discuss tomorrow also. No, so when you save your file, no, you have save as, save a copy, save as template. Okay. So, save, huwag mo na yung save. Ihuli natin yung save. Save as muna. So, for save as, when you click save as, okay. So, same as Photoshop, no? It allows you to save the file. We name the file, no? So, let's say cats. And then you can save it in a different file format. So under Save As, you have AI, PDF, EPS, AIT, SVG, tsaka SVG compressed. So let's say AI lang. All right. Then you click on Save. Okay. You get this options, no? This window where you can choose which version that you want to save it into. Okay. Why is this important? Okay. Now, because every time nagbabago si Adobe Illustrator or even sa Photoshop, no? So, every time nagbabago or nag-upgrade ng version si Illustrator, of course, it means that Illustrator or Adobe added more features to it, which are not available in the older versions. Now, because the idea that it's being upgraded, then there is a chance where some of the features that you may have used in the 2020 version may not be editable or recognized by the lower versions. So, when you save it or when you use the term, dito ginagamit yung term na backsave. Okay. So, kapag nagba-backsave tayo, meaning nagsasave ka in lower versions, as much as possible, you are trying, sorry, anak ko yan eh. Okay. So, you are trying to make it as editable as possible. Okay. Now, ang challenge dyan is when you back save, no, without saving in the latest version or the current version you're using, is kapag binuksan mo na yung back saved format, okay, in the current version, hindi na siya 100% editable. So, be careful. So, yun lang yung aking point in life. So, be careful lang. So, that's my reminder, no, sweet reminder. So if you're using a 2020 version, all the time, make sure that you save it in the same version. Okay. If you need to give the file to someone who's using an older version, okay, like CC Legacy, all right. So you have this warning symbol, and it would say na it may cause some changes. So may mga warning naman na it may cause some changes to your text layout, pwedeng ma-disable some of the editing capabilities now when the document is open, yung mga ganon, no? So you will always have to save it in the current version and then save a copy in a lower version if necessary. Okay. But other than that, just retain everything as is. Okay, so you save. Okay, so I click on save, for example. All right. Now, anong difference ng save as sa save a copy? What do you think is the difference between the two, Patty? Hula-hula tayo. Try lang. Hindi kita marinig, sis.
Ayan, sorry.
Ayan. Kere.
Save a copy. So, dalawang file na masisave?
Okay.
No.
Pwede. What about
Pwede.
Raf? Pwede. Si Raf, what do you think?
Save a copy. Siguro, kapag yung isi-save mo sa ibang storage, ganun, without ganun, yung instead na i-copy-paste mo, parang pwede mo lang siyang i-save from the Illustrator punta sa ibang storage.
Pwede rin. So, pwede. Okay. So, save a copy is actually merely adding the word copy. So, yes to Patty. Ganun lang. May word lang na copy. Okay. So, yes. So, when you save a copy, it doesn't affect yung original file mo. If it was previously saved, no, hindi niya i-receive yun as the same file. But rather, it will add a word copy in the file name. And then you're basically saving a separate file. So, tama rin naman si Raf. Yes. Hindi nagagalaw yung original file, right? So, yun lang yung difference between save as and save a copy. Whereas, okay, what is save as template?
Yung layout na ginawa sa artboard, yun yung masisave. Question mark.
Parang hindi.
Parang
Sabi
hindi.
ko, iniisip ko nga kung pwede kong sabihin pwede. Okay.
Hindi.
Hindi. So, ang AIT or template, no, it's almost the same as save a copy. Pero ang difference is, as template siya nagsisave, .ait. Ano ang advantage ng .ait? So, hindi siya nag-a-add ng word ng copy, gano'n. Wala. So, i-retain niya yung file name or the current file name. But it saves as a different file format, which is AIT. What is the advantage of templates? Okay. So, ang advantage ng templates is, if let's say you have created a template, okay? So, let's say you designed a business card, right? So, a business card. So, meron kang logo element doon, meron kang complete website address, social media accounts listed there, no? Ang nagbabago lang is yung employee, right? So yung pangalan. Let's say lahat tayo nagtatrabaho sa sa isang company. So let's say PCCI company, lahat tayong tatlo empleyado. But each of us would need a business card, right? So ang nagbabago lang basically is the title of the employee, right? And the name, okay? Plus yung email address, okay? Now, if there is a standard file layout for the business card, it can be saved as a template. Then, if you keep on creating, if you go File, then New from Template, and you choose that business card, okay, and then you click on New, what it does is it creates a separate file altogether. So, hindi niya nire-reuse yung template. So, it creates a separate file, copying the elements that you have from the template, and then you can save it as a separate file altogether. Okay. Does that make sense? Pati, parang hindi ka sigurado. Okay. So, parang hindi ka sure. Okay.
Parang yun yung nasa isip ko, hindi ko lang, hindi ko get. Oo, di ko ayun. Parang yun yun.
Yeah. Okay. So, sige, pwede. So, pwede ko sabihin kay Patty, pwede. so, ganun siya. Ano ang advantage no? So, ang Pinoy, ako, ganun, sakit ko yan dati. Bubuksan ko existing file kasi i-edit ko lang konti, then send ko. Save ako, ganyan. Then send ko. So, paulit-ulit lang. No? Bubuksan ko rin yung original file, edit ko, then send ako. Kung mga 10 beses o 100 times mo gagawin yun, there is always the risk of getting that same file corrupted.
Oh.
Yun siya. So, ang gusto mo mangyari is ma-preserve mo yung original na file. Kasi kung save as ka lang ng save as, paulit-ulit lang yung save as, chances are, dahil ginagamit mo yung the same file all the time, tapos pag output, saka mo lang siya sinasave as a separate file, masisira yan. Kumbaga, you're trying to prevent the risk of getting the file corrupted after so much time being spent on it and used for so long. So that's where the templates come in handy. Yun. So, ganun siya. Okay. So, you can save as template. And that's the file extension. It's AIT. Okay, so yun. And then the save is just the occasional save. Once you have saved the file with the name and where it's going to, and where the location is, then Control S will just keep on saving the latest actions that you have done in your file. Yun. So meron tayong save as, save a copy, save as template. Yan. Okay. So, questions pa so far? Wala. Alright. So, in our last hands-on activity, all you need to do is this, no? So, under creating a new file, no? Where you found the video, there's instructions there. So, what you need to do is create a new document. In this new document, what I want you to do is create 4 artboards. Okay, 4 artboards. Ganun lang. A4 size, 4 artboards. Change the orientation for all na landscape. Okay, yun lang. Ganun lang muna tayo kasimple. And then save the file. Use your name. No? So type in your name as your file name. And then save the file in your folder. So I think because we are gonna, we have more hands-on, every day may hands-on activity tayo. So I would strongly suggest that you create a folder on your desktop. Name it as AI or whichever you want to name it with. And then save all your files there. Sa 5 days tayong may mga exercises eh. So you can save it. Okay? So once you're done, just let me know. Okay. Well, I'm gonna watch your screen your screens anyway. So let me know, and that's basically it for our session. Okay. So let's have about 5 minutes to do that. Start sharing your screen, and then just create 4 artboards. Everything under our getting started with AI. So you see my screen, di ba? Tama ba? Okay. So so we covered, of course, yung orientation. We had the orientation, and then we have gone through the discussion about vector versus raster, CMYK versus RGB, no, and then supported file format. So again, you may want to take the rest of the time to watch the video. Okay. And also, we have covered and did a hands-on exercise on the workspace. And then lastly, creating a new file. Okay. So I saw naman that we were able to do that. So good job. Tomorrow, what we're going to cover is organizing and viewing artwork. So we'll cover creating artboards. Actually, we've done some of them. No? Na-cover na natin like how to rename, how to edit. I showed you guys how to do those. Pero we'll go through it again. There are a couple of files that you can download and watch also in advance. Okay. And then we will learn about the hand tool and the zoom tool. So more or less the same. Yung zoom tool halos the same lang as in Photoshop, no? Pero we're gonna walk through and have time to do it ourselves also. And then viewing elements. Now, what are the kinds of, what are the different previews na available in Adobe Illustrator? We'll also start using some basic shape tools. Okay, drawing modes. No? So again, we'll have hands-on exercise on that. And then layers. So from start to finish, meron tayong hands-on. So more like a demo and hands-on ang gagawin natin tomorrow. Okay, questions so far? None? Sige. So, para makauwi agad si Raf, baka
Mamaya
Babiyahe
pa ba?
pa.
biyahe ka pa. Pati ikaw, baka babiyahe ka sa CR,
Opo.
sa kusina, right?
Mamaya pa po
Okay.
akong 8 p.m.
Oh, may cut-off, diba? Ay, may curfew, diba?
Dito wala naman po
Wala.
since MGCQ naman na po. Pero may shuttle naman po kami.
Buti naman. Okay. So, again, guys, we're done for the day. Maaga-aga, no? Thank you so much and see you tomorrow. Okay, stay safe.
Thank you po.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.